to make sure every education or elementary teacher in the state of Mississippi knew about what the scientific research on reading showed worked best and knew how to do it in the classroom. They sent special trainers out all across the state to make it happen. 4 years later, in the 2019 National Assessment of Educational Progress, guess which state was the only state in the entire country to show an improvement in NAEP grade 4 reading results?
Wow.
Just to say, thank goodness for Mississippi. Now we can say it because they're showing us we could do reading a whole lot better, but we're not doing it yet. We had a bill floated in the session in the beginning of this year in 2021 that would have brought a Mississippi-like program to Kentucky. And it got killed in the House without even getting a hearing at the request of about 300 self-serving teachers who don't want to change and didn't want this to happen. And you know how many kids we estimate in the state are in serious trouble for reading? Down there around that NAEP basic or below basic level I talked about, where they're not even partially reading. 200,000 kids in the kindergarten through 12th grade public school system in the state of Kentucky appear to be in this very serious, very weak reading situation out of a total enrollment of about 648,000 in the state. Hundreds of thousands of Kentucky kids aren't being taught to read properly.
And now, brother, let me ask you this in conclusion. First of all, what is the Bluegrass Institute's website?
Okay, it's real easy. It's www.B as in boy, I as in India, P as in Papa, another P as in Papa, S as in Sierra. That's BIPS.org.
Okay.
BIPPS.org.
Okay, BIP. I'm going to put that in our description. And brother, let me ask you this. Actually, I'm just going to make a comment, and I want you to respond to it. If these young people, this large number of young people, are not learning how to read properly, and they come out into the workplace, that doesn't bode well for a growing economy in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Where do you stand on that, or do you think I'm exaggerating too much?
Well, I think some of the things we're seeing now are beginning to raise some very serious concerns about that problem. I think you're aware that Kentucky currently is leading the nation for the number of people who are out of work. Some have been quitting their jobs, maybe because they're being forced out. Some just can't get work because they don't have the skills required. And if you can't read, your chances of even filling out the application for employment correctly are pretty doggone slim.
Yes.
And we have lots and lots of people in that position. We have lots of people getting incarcerated, and a significant number of our prison population can't read either. But there is hope even there if we would just get our act together and do it right, because there are programs that take prisoners and teach them how to read. In fact, we have a gentleman in our church, 57 years old, a non-reader until he was 57, and people sat down and taught him how to read properly. And he's a reader now, and he's proud of it. It can be fixed, but you got to admit you're not doing it right before you can fix it. And so far, we have a lot of people in the state. We've got programs being listed in official documentation. I just looked at it yesterday at the Kentucky Department of Education's website. Reading programs that they say should be used coming from companies that are absolutely right now under a lot of attack for not teaching reading properly, for having the wrong methods in their program. And they're officially sanctioned here in Kentucky. Still, that's a problem. We have got to admit a lot of our teachers do not know how to teach reading properly. The test scores make it obvious, but we've got to admit that.
Yes.
And get those teachers the help that I'm convinced most of them really would want if they really were approached properly and made to understand, look, there is a better way to do this. Take a look at what's going on in Mississippi. Take a look at what's going on in Clay County right here in Kentucky. I just looked at that yesterday. It's awesome. This is a high poverty Appalachian school district. High poverty. We're talking poverty rates even higher than most of the schools in Louisville.
Right.
And they're getting reading proficiency rates as high as the 90% range.
Wow.
90% proficient readers. That's awesome.
Yes, yes, it is.
Can be done. And they're using, by the way, they're using a special program there. I won't discuss that right now in detail, but there is a program behind that. You've got to get people into the school system to show the teachers how to do it properly. That's what's happened in Clay County, and it shows in their test scores.
All right.
I'll
Brother,
be having a
thank you.
follow-up on that in a couple of days.
Brother, thank you so much for coming on. Later this weekend, I am going to be in touch with you to schedule another time for you to come back and for my readers, for my listeners to hear you, tell us more. Every parent who hears this, you've got to take note of what this man just shared with us, and you've got to share it with other parents. This is absolutely urgent. And even though it sort of started off, my Lord, I was really getting just down and pessimistic, but at the end here, Mr. Ennis, education analyst at Bluegrass Institute, he was really giving us a lot of optimism. It's just like he said, though, we got to face the problem and then do what's right. Brother, thank you so much for coming on. I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon.
I'll be happy to do that. And next time, maybe we can get to the evidence that despite what you think, COVID didn't start the problems in Kentucky's education. We'll see that if we talk about ACT scores. So I'll leave that for the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you.